What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Clutch. Tonight, I have a very great friend of mine. We've shared a lot of stories. We've had a lot of laughs, a couple of tears, and we're probably going to share some more here in about 2 weeks. So, y'all put your hands together for my good friend, JT Tomlinson.
Hey,
What's going on, brother?
I like that intro, man. That's pretty slick.
I'm trying to up the game a little bit.
Yeah, man. It's all
Make it
polished.
look like I give a shit about my production or something. Oh man. So we're gonna jump into Reptilution like right away because obviously that's the big factor of what's going on in the Reptichip family right now, right? Is we're trying to push this. So where did the idea of Reptilution come from, and why did you choose that name?
So I think Reptilution is what I really wanted to do is steer away from kind of Reptichip with Reptilution. Unfortunately, it was like, oh, hey, it sounded like a good segue, but maybe it didn't help me steer too much away from Reptichip. But it kind of fit for what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was start creating not a brand, not a just more of a feeling, more of a movement about joining together and being united. One reason why I wanted to steer it away from Reptichip is that we have so many things that divide us, and you can see it online. You can see it anywhere you go. You can see it. You can hear it at shows. You can see it with vendors or distributors of certain products or fans of certain breeders or whatever. You know, we're all divided about so many different things. We're divided about substrate, man. I mean, that's one reason why I didn't want it to be kind of a Reptichip thing. I want it to be, it's not exclusive, it's inclusive. Like, we want to include everybody because at the end of the day, we're fighting for our rights as reptile keepers, breeders, enthusiasts. That's what we need to be focused on, not what kind of enclosure you use or kind of substrate you use, or if you're a ball python guy or a leopard gecko girl or whatever. Like,
you're one of those weird Angolan python people. Like, who the? No,
I love Angolans, but I mean, like,
I know that's why I said
it. Seriously, like, you know, I mean, we need to get on the same page about what's really important right now. And what's really important is there's bills in, well, all over the East Coast. And I mean, if you name a state, you've got some sort of legislation that's being introduced to take away your rights as even an enthusiast. Like, New York's about to pass a bill or has passed a bill about no interstate reptile shipping. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's an infringement on your rights. And I think that as somebody that has a passion for keeping, viewing, wanting to interact with these animals and that special engagement that you have, I think that it's in our best interest to say enough of the bullshit. Let's become united behind at least one thing, right? And the one thing needs to be, let's come together, stop bashing each other for the bullshit. Just say, hey, we need to do something about these laws. We need to stop. We need to be a little bit more accepting of the noobs that come into the industry and ask simple questions, or, you know, what people might think are stupid questions. They're not stupid questions. We all asked the same questions when we came in. Like, we've got to embrace those people. They're the future of our industry. So what we're doing with the Reptilution brand in particular is any profits that we make, 100% of that goes back to the community in some way. It's either a US ARC donation. We've got a couple other organizations that take care of herpers, families, legislation rights, all that kind of stuff, like the Herps Family Foundation. I'm a board member on that. Or just simply like relief causes, like this latest hurricane in Louisiana. So we've got people that are still out of power there.
Right.
And we do what we can to get them money. All kind of derives from point when I myself was in need. I had a fire over a year ago, a little over a year ago, in the community. You couldn't ask for a better community that joined together and helped me out through financial contributions or donation of animals or donation of simple supply. Like I had people that sent me shorts. I had people that sent my dog bowls and stuff like that. Things that you don't really think about, but like this community is amazing. Right. And so now that I've got my feet back under me, I want to do what everyone's done for me and like keep the ball rolling. Let's focus on what's important, which is our community, our people, and the real threats to us.
Right. And I think that's a great way of looking at it. I think I've kind of noticed it over the last couple of years. It seems like there's always something happening in the community, and with it being the size that it is, obviously you're going to have that. Like you're not going to have thousands upon thousands of people come together in a community and everyone's good at the same time,
Yeah. Here's the thing is, like, we are a close community. Like we know, there's a lot of communities. You can compare it to whatever other community is there. But like for instance, I don't know. I don't know a specific community that we can compare it to. There's 1,000, but when you are a snake person and you're kind of tied into social media, there's about 3,000 people, 5,000 people that you know in some way, or somebody that knows them. So you're going to see a lot of people. You're going to see people come and go out of the community. You're going to see friends that that pass away. Like you're going to see a lot of different things. And so you're kind of exposed to a lot of different things. And at the end of the day, we need to realize that, our focus needs to be on what's most important, and that's doing what we love.
Exactly. And I love the fact that every chance that you've taken, man, you've found a way to give back to the community. Like whether you were always in the best place or not, you've always found a way to give back to the community, whether it's the US ARC auctions, whether it's helping someone out individually, whether it's just giving that support to someone on the phone. And I think that's something everyone should strive for. I feel like it's something that you derived from the military, because that's the way that we were taught when we were brought up in our military time. Is one, you don't just do your job, but you take care of your community. You take care of your unit and the outlying community in whatever city that you're in any fashion that you can.
I think that's such a good point, because there are so many things that are bigger than us. And I think military guys and gals kind of get that, because we've been indoctrinated. We've been in the position where we've realized that there's personal sacrifice for the good of the whole. Not to say that, people outside the military haven't, but that is a constant lesson that's drilled into military members, is that, we exist to support the success of the unit, not for our individual needs. So, when
Well, we exist to serve, like plain and simple. That's one of our values is selfless service.
yep, that's an Army value, and that's a value that a lot of the other branches internalize as well. We just specify it in the Army. But I think that a lot of people do that, not realizing that they're doing it because they just know this is the right thing to do. They do it. It's not a specified value that we've put out there. We're kind of taking that step to kind of specify that with the Reptilution brand, and like taking it a little bit for like with our initial shirt, which is basically the actual brand logo, which is like Unite or Die, based off of, the actual American Revolution propaganda, which, if the history buffs out there remember, are like you had the snake in particular, and I think, can the audience see the
Yeah,
logo?
they can see the logo up here.
So that used to be a divided snake that had all the different states, and they're saying, "Hey, unite or die." Well, what we did is put that snake back together, because obviously we don't want to cut
be united.
That's right. We're united. And I think that's the essence of what Reptilution is. We'll keep doing different apparel items and different, community efforts and stuff. This is just the initial thing. But I think that we've kind of announced what this is about, and that's the takeaway, is I want people to know that let's get on the same sheet of music about,
Right.
So
what's kind of the 5 meter, your 10 meter, your 15 meter targets that you're looking at with this? Like, are we looking to just support someone that's like dealing with health issues in the short term, or what are we looking to do with Reptilution?
Well, it is the sense of community, right? That's the brand philosophy behind Reptilution, is that we're taking care of each other, and if there's a fight, we're not fighting each other. We're fighting against the causes that actually threaten us as a community. And so that's a great question about 5 meter. That's a military saying 5 meter, 10 meter, 15 meter targets. They're the targets. They're literally right in front of you. They are the ones that you have to take care of immediately, as opposed to targets that are out like at 250 or 300 meters, like the ones you can take a little more time with to hit, right? So those targets are, let's put it this way, if it comes down between you purchasing a Reptilution t-shirt or you helping out your buddy down the street that had a problem with fill in the blank, there's a million and one things that can happen. I hope that the brand emphasizes that you're taking care of your fellow man or woman, or we're going to say, right? You're taking care of each other before doing the next step, which is, like, hey, we're going to support a brand that, we're going, that means something. I don't care about that. I really care about the guy that's to your left and right. Just like in the military, you fight for the guy or gal that's to your left or right.
Absolutely. Do you think so I feel like everything's based off of mission, right? The way our mind is etched is it's always mission first. This is our goal. This is how we're going to get here. So the step by step, which is kind of why I asked you the 5 meter, 10 meter target thing, right? With that being said, the goal is to help. The goal is to build the community stronger, which has been a continuing goal in all the brands that I've seen from you.
Yeah, it'll never.
Not, and I know you said this isn't a brand, but essentially it is a brand, but it's a brand of its own sort. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So with doing this, do you intentionally wrap that mission all together? Is that JT's mission, or is that just what you're trying to push down to others, or not necessarily push down, that sounds wrong, sorry, business, you look at leadership styles, and that's what we look at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it as a leadership attribute, is you're pushing it down to other people, not necessarily that people are subordinates or anything like that, but you know what I mean.
There's a lot of different ways to do something, and one way is to say, hey, support USARC.
Right.
And I've done that before, and I've even said, come out and said, hey, used, whatever little influence that I've had and said, hey, support breeders that are USARC members, right? And for some reason that got a lot of pushback, or some confusion, or some questions like, are you being elitist? Like you're only going to buy from people that are USARC members? And,
yeah, sorry. Yeah. I mean, I'll say it myself. If you're not supporting USARC, I'm
very comfortable saying it too, is, I understand the concern, but the argument that, hey, not everybody has to be a USARC member, fuck that. No, you need to be a fucking USARC member. Like, you need to donate to USARC. Okay, let's put it this way. If you make any money off of this industry, it is a non-negotiable. You need to be a USARC member. I'm not saying you need to be the, platinum fucking member, right? Like, you need to pay your $30 a year, whatever it is, become a member, because membership is important. Donations are very important. Don't get me wrong. Membership is also extremely important, because membership gives you a quantifier when you're going to Congress, when you're going to state legislatures, when you say, hey, USARC is 50,000 strong. That sounds a lot better than USARC is 5,000 strong. So become a member. Shut the fuck up about your, need to be able to choose what if you make
$40.
Money.
The basic one's $40. So you could sell a normal. You could wholesale a normal and pay it.
You could sell a reverse Okiti or corn snake. That's your USARC membership, and you have a clutch of 30 other corn snakes to sell. So when you want to approach me with that bullshit about like, hey, you're elitist because you're saying just buy from USARC members, I got nothing for you. Get the fuck out of here.
But that tells you too. And that the other thing with that is it helps push away the scammers, because we have, unfortunately, a multitude of scammers that come in every year.
Not just
usually with multiple accounts.
Just people that are out for themselves only. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they're just looking for the bottom line, the bottom dollar. And that's, military people will also get this. Like, at least I think they will, is I mean, there wasn't a pay period that went around without like your sergeant major or your chief coming in, or, whatever the Air Force has, your chief master sergeant coming in and saying, hey, you're going to support whatever. That's right. So, and it wasn't a question. There was like, you do it, or you're going to explain yourself. Why aren't you supporting this cause? You can't give $2 a month. Mm-hmm. You're going to spend that on one beer. Like there's no excuse. Like, this is something you're passionate about. This is something you're going to support. So, if you want to, social media, of course, everybody has their opinion. You can put it out there, and I don't even care if you're commenting on my stuff. You're, as long as you're respectful of everybody else, then please give your opinion. But it doesn't pass the common sense test. Is you got to give to get, and if everybody felt that way, then we would be in a much better position. I feel like I owe the industry. I have a debt that I will never be able to repay to the industry. To all the good people out there, to all the people. I had people that donated. We had people that donated a lot of money, and we also had people that donated $3. And if you think about that, somebody that donated $3, that's what they had to give.
Right.
That'll fuck you up, man.
It's
when
the shirt off their back. Yeah.
Like, they took the time and the effort to donate $3. Right? You spend more than that for a latte at, Starbucks or whatever, right? Like, but it was that important that they took the time to donate their money, and that's what they had to give, and they gave it. We have great people in this industry. So I feel like, it's like there's debts that I'll never be able to repay, so I'll just do what I can in the meantime, and that's, you do what you can.
Chandler brought up a thing. I don't know if I popped it off before you could read it. And he's right in an aspect, but I understand the mentality that you're coming from too, right? So, like, the way that we were brought up, the way that we were taught is you never receive without giving. You don't take and not give. And so I understand, like, even with the help in your time of need, you feel the need to give, even though it was given with no sense of reciprocation,
Yeah, but I'm in a place now because of the community,
right?
Directly because of the community. I'm in a place now where I've been able to build myself back up. And was it 100% the community? No, it was my own fucking. I took what the community gave me, and I tried to make the best of it because I felt like there is a obligation, there is a serious. I had to be a good steward of those contributions, and not just financial, but those time contributions, those emotional feelings, all of that support that I've got to be a good steward of that. So I work my fucking ass off to get to a point where I'm established. I've got my feet under me, and now I'm going to do what I can for the people that have done everything for me. So that's just the way it is. And yeah, people, I appreciate the sentiment that I don't owe anybody anything. And
that's
I don't
leadership though, JT. Like that's literally what we're taught though, is like you attain your heights. Like the job of your leadership is to teach you to take their place.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're doing, it isn't necessarily that you're trying to give back for what you received, but that's your way of doing it. Like you were taught that you're brought up this way, you attain this level of either accomplishment or leadership or however you want to put it. Your job at that point is to then pass it down and to prepare the next person, because we're not always going to be here.
I believe that, and I think that that's kind of instilled with our people, right? I hate to keep going back to the military, but and then you say military, but that's just the way it is in the military. But a lot of other cultures and a lot of other communities understand that, whether it be first responders or just people that understand the way that we kind of assimilate and the way that we think. I think that's just I don't really have a choice. That's how I was built. So if somebody's, you're always working towards the whole. And when I came into this community, I came out of years of military service and then years of contracting, which was the same type of thing. It was defense contract, all military people. So it was all the same mentality of people. And it was always, you know, the good of the group over the individual. It was just always just the way things were. And when I came into this community, I noticed, not in a bad way, but I noticed that there was not a lot of, everybody was kind of just independent and nobody really, I don't want to overgeneralize, but like, you know, everybody had their separate businesses and they, you know, wanted to manage what was good for them. Nothing wrong with that. And there was, you know, there was people that didn't think strictly that way, but like, I just thought that, you know, we're all going to get a lot further working for each other than we are as a single unit. Like, you know, whether that's networking, and that's one thing that just happen to be known for, I guess, is networking. Is like, I just know a lot of people at a lot of different places, you know, and try to hook people up with different things. Because why the hell, I'm not trying to keep anything close hold or secret. Like, if I know you're into YouTube, I want you to link up with the YouTube guy that I know, and maybe you guys can do something. Or if you're into, hey, you want to breed rainbow boas, hey, I know a guy. If I can help you, I'm going to help you. It's just good. That's just doing your duty as a person. That's just like being a decent human being, you know. Hey, I got a question for you.
Oh God, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn the tables. How do you know Gabe Trujillo?
Oh God. Well, I know him from the military while he was at Fort Bliss, and I also know him from the first motorcycle group that I was with.
Sweet.
So
Gabe was
got a long time relationship with him.
No shit. Gabe was I was a brand new lieutenant in like just fresh. And I just saw that you guys were like friends, and I'm like, that's weird. I was fresh out of like whatever training, like got to my first unit in the 82nd Airborne in the second the 04. So if Gabe's watching, strike hold, White Devil. And he was my weapons, or no, he was a squad leader, and I think later became the weapons squad leader, which is the senior squad leader. So he was an E6, and I love talking to Gabe because he was a formerly, if memory serves, he was formerly an officer in the Colombian Army, and came over. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, like
with all the beers I've drank with this guy, I should know stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, he's kind of like, he doesn't like to tout his, you know, but and he would tell me stories about the Colombian Army and like all types of stuff. And hopefully memory serving me right. But anyway, and I remember I was at my unit, had just taken charge, like, 36 guys, my platoon. And we were going to expert infantry training or something. And we were like running out to the training site. And Gabe was the first person that told me about a plane hit of the World Trade Center tower in the World Trade Center. I'll never forget that, because you always remember where you were when you heard about. And I was thinking, we were on the East Coast. We were on the East Coast time, so it was like, 20 minutes after it happened. I was thinking, that's weird. But the way that Gabe was talking, he was like, no, this is not a commuter plane. This was like a serious plane. And by the time we got to the EIB site to do training, there was the lane people were like, hey, a second plane hit, report back to your unit. And we were on, I had just taken over this unit, this small, this platoon, and we were on DRF 1, meaning that we were the most ready force in the 82nd out of 14,000 or 16,000 people. We were on 2-hour recall. And they were like, run back. So we ran back to the barracks, and I think we were locked down for, I don't know. We had to stay within like 5 minutes. For PT in the morning, we ran around the barracks because we had a 5-minute recall to be, start the 18-hour sequence and be wheels up. Anyway, I thought that was super interesting because Gabe is always close to my heart, and he'll always be one of the Bohicas. That was our platoon name, Bohica.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
it's a small world, man. Especially Army. Army life's a small world.
I think that's crazy.
I think, not to stay on the subject of Gabe, he's probably going to be pissed off for giving all this personal information out.
He's such a great guy.
Yeah. Pretty sure he goes for, he either went through Sergeant Major Academy recently or he's about to go, last time I knew.
Is he still in?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
From what I remember. I mean, it's been a little bit.
I hope so.
Since he moved away.
Military needs him. Military needs been like him.
Great dude, though. Like
that's good.
One person when you're having a bad day, he's gonna set your ass right again. You're gonna be smiling and your head's gonna be held high again.
I'm sure we're boring everybody, but I love you, man. I love you.
That's
good, motherfucker.
It's all good, man. So what you said you were a lieutenant in the 82nd. What was your actual? I know it's like alpha for lieutenants, right? I don't know. I wasn't an officer. I was one of those lower enlisted people.
I was 11 Alpha, 5 Victor or Julia. I don't know.
Infantry Officer.
Yeah, they have different sub. I don't even remember what it is. Sub MOSs or whatever. Because you're supposed to fit into their slot. They're like you have to be like a Airborne Ranger qualified officer or a Jump Master Ranger qualified officer or whatever it is. I think 5 Victor for some reason. But yeah, 11 Alpha.
So even with being an infantry officer, because infantry guys they're not always the brightest. They're a fun group to be around, but obviously as the officer, you got to have a little bit of brains there, right? What was the main portion of it? Were you looking at like logistics? Was it mission planning? Like what was your focus at that point?
In the military? So as an infantry officer, you're ideally you're put in charge of a platoon. I think that's at least all of the, well, I can't speak for everybody, but my aspirations were to be a platoon leader, and then usually go to a specialty platoon after that, and then you become like a rifle or a company XO, and then then you probably go to like your advanced course, and then come back and you might be a staff officer for a little bit, then become a company commander. Right. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of the viewers, but I think my only aspiration really about going into the military was I wanted to do what I thought the Army was about, which was, kick down doors and shoot people in the face. So
Be the best you can be.
yeah, be all you can be was my
Be all you can be.
motto when I got in, and then it was like become an army of one or some other shit.
Army of one, and then it became Army Strong right before I came in.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
I don't know. I never really saw it. Like that was just what I was focused on, and I got what I asked for. They put me in charge of a platoon of killers, and it was more like, oh, I'm not the guy that's kicking down doors. I'm just pulling the leash back on the dudes that are, right? Like that's a better understanding of what it's like to be an officer at least in the airborne infantry or the Ranger infantry, is like, oh, and you're not even doing that to that extent. Like your squad leaders and team leaders are like pulling back the range. Your door kickers and shooters are like, they're missing stuff.
All they want.
Yeah. You got like at a fire team, you've got 4 dudes that the oldest guy is probably 20 or 21. They got more firepower than most European countries in that little fire team. And all they want to do is shoot people in the face. They're driven off of that. They live off of nicotine and ribbits, and they're like, don't fuck shit up. And you've got to control them from fucking shit up all the time, because you're like, fuck that up. Like, don't fuck anything else up, because we need to use that. Like, our mission was a lot of airfield seizure, so jumping on the like tarmacs and like airports basically, and like you can't fuck everything up because you got to land aircraft on that airport. So like they're great at fucking shit up. You just got to kind of like kill the bad guys, and then like we got to have other people come in, and it's got to be a nice place after we're done.
You said that in a very nice manner, JT.
I'm trying.
So taking that mindset, bringing it to your contractor time, to you get through that time, right? And you bring in On the Ball and Reptichip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you keeping the same mentality coming to the civilian sector as you had to do there once you started bringing employees in? Or is it, okay, I'm going to tell these guys what I expect and I'm going to let them run with
it? That's a good question, man. I think
JT's like, fuck, I didn't want to answer.
I mean, it's it's a really insightful question. I think that, for the first, I think for the first more than a few years, like 3 or 4, I worked for myself, and I was used to working for myself, coming off of, the military. I went into contract work, and then you're always working for yourself. Yeah, you work with teams. Of course, you work with teams, but like as a contractor, you're
choosing your own contracts. And
if you don't like something, I'm out. Or vice versa. Like they don't like you, you're out. Like it's really big boy rules. So that's something that I embraced. You embrace that kind of in the military, and then contract, it's kind of escalated where the military, unless you fuck up big, you're probably going to have a job, or if you fuck up kind of bad, they'll put you someplace where
they'll try to give you another job before.
Right.
You don't have a choice.
Unless you're like really off the reservation, right? Contract work, not necessarily, especially like more specialized contract work. They're like, we didn't like the way you looked this morning, so not that you have to play the game, but they were just kind of a lot more. They're like, hey, if you don't want to play by our rules, and so everybody thinks like contractors are very, like, hey, we do whatever we want, or the mercenary thing or all that shit. It's really not. At least the shit that I was on was like, hey, you're gonna toe the line. Like if they say shave, you shave. Like if you're trying to blend in with somebody, going to blend in with somebody. Or if they say grow your hair out, you're going to grow your hair. Like, you're not messing around. You know, it's
that's a bad joke.
I've done both. I've grown my hair out. I had a man bun to pose as a surfer.
I need a picture of this.
I'll send you a picture of it.
It's bad.
It's bad. And I've also, you know, gone from that contractor look into a military haircut and a clean shave because we're posing as military. So it went both ways. It was big boy rules. It was like assimilate or, you know, or don't, and you're done.
You mean unite or die? Wait,
unite or die. That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's why. So, I mean, I guess with those experiences, I kind of probably bring that stuff to the table, and I'm like, you know, we want to have problems with shit that aren't problems. You know, like, suck it up. Can we auction off that pickup off at Arlington? What pick is it? Did you see that comment?
Your surfer picture.
Oh. Nice. Maybe. I think it's just.
I mean, I got a guy. He can transfer it into a big old foam cutout of you. It'd be great, life size. Like,
I don't think you want that. That's a lot of ugly running around.
But. So you said it was about 3 or 4 years before you started bringing people in. So once you brought people in, what happened?
So I brought in friends. I always try to use friends when I do stuff, which is like goes both ways. Like, it can be a really good thing, it can be a really bad thing, right? Because you're putting a friendship in jeopardy, essentially, if you are doing business with friends. I try to always do that, and sometimes it bites me, and sometimes it works out beautifully. It's just I think it's like having guys in the military, though. You're always going to try to, like, err on the side of, like, fuck it. If they want the same thing, let's try to do it. And if it doesn't work out, then either the friendship wasn't that great, or, you know, you just respectfully, you know, move on, or whatever it is. But, like, you're always going to try to hook up your buddy, you know, if it's possible. So I think I did on the ball pythons for a few years on my own, and kind of got established there, and then started bringing in Reptichip, initially not to sell, just for stuff that I wanted it for my collection. I had no ambitions to do anything outside of snakes, because snakes were going well, and I was just thinking, you know, this really works for me. I'm going to keep doing it. It's kind of my secret sauce. And then a lot of guys that started hitting me up for, you know, the coconut and stuff, and, you know, went a different way and said, okay, well, if we're selling to you anyway, we're going to create our own brand, and then build our own brand. And then we started bringing in, we had to have a lot of help, because, like, especially when we started from going into just import basically, in wholesale and retail sales. And then we went into manufacturing with the RETICULATED products, which is just a whole nother animal. And now we've got a crew that works that. So there's no way I could do any of this stuff myself. Like, I probably need about 5 extra guys to actually be effective, but right now we've got 4 or 5 guys, 3 full-time and 4 or 2, maybe 2 part-time people that work here. Definitely need more. So if you're in the area and you're looking to be a part of an exciting new cutting edge industry, then give me a shout.
You need a marketing guy. Jesus, that was
I need that. I need a day-to-day guy or gal. I need a lot of things. At the
I'm
end
just
of the
giving you a
day,
hard time, brother. I
no,
understand.
I do need. You're absolutely right.
Well, no, I'm giving you a hard time because I said I'd totally take the marketing gig if I was closer, and then I thought about San Antonio again. I was like,
You need to come to San
I
Antonio.
enjoy
Settle
using it
down.
as a vacation spot. I don't want to live there anymore.
All right. Well, when your wife decides that it's time, let me know.
She wants to go up north. Sorry, that's where the family is.
I know.
You can
That's
spend your time trying to talk her out of that one. Oh man. So you skipped over the question really well, JT. I'm proud of you.
Oh, did I? I don't know when I do that. Which one was it?
No, it's okay. I mean,
No,
it's just the mentality. Like, did you keep your military mentality with people, or did you? Because you said you brought in friends, and sometimes friends don't work.
Yeah.
Did you keep it as okay? This is the way I've done it. This is the way it must be done. Like, were you that? What's it called? Were you that transformational leader versus the servant leader for a little while? Or
I think really good question. Excellent question, right? Because I think the thing is that even in the military or other aspects of the military, it's never going to be the same as a leader, right? If you're a leader, you're a leader. And what works one place is not going to work the other. I could go down the street to a separate unit that's like in the same company. In that leadership, those same leadership techniques aren't necessarily going to work there. Like
right.
People are different. Other leaders there are different. When I try to bridge the gap between military or contract leadership into civilian leadership or my own company leadership, totally different, right? For one, I don't have people here that are like, oh, fuck, I'm going to get in huge trouble if I don't listen to him, right? There's a totally different dynamic here. Like they can quit like that if they wanted to, that's just the nature of the beast. Like in the military, it's not that easy. You can't just be like, I'm out.
Oh, believe me, I tried. I didn't try to quit the military, but I definitely tried to get some guys to fucking quit.
Yeah.
I couldn't get them to quit. I was upset.
Not quite the same. People can, there's a little bit more, I guess there's more structure there where you can just, here, it's like, okay, well, it is challenging as a leader and trying to find your what we call battle rhythm. Like there's a bunch of different there's a rhythm to things that you want to kind of get into a rhythm of things. It's a lot different than the military. It's a lot but again, the same things serve me well. Like like I saw that you were posting up about in your marketing, you were saying like JT was a ranger and stuff like that. Well, ranger school is not, it's a tactical school at a secondary level, but it's a leadership school primarily. And essentially when it's boiled down, it's about getting people to do things they don't really want to do because you've taken away all of their reasons to want to do anything. Like they're extremely hungry or tired or hurt or not even in the right mental state for things. So how do you lead people that are doing things that you don't even want to do?
Right.
So that's a good, I mean, that's just one school of leadership. And, hopefully that's your kind of your basis. And then as you kind of develop as a leader and, kind of grow and understand more and see different organizations and all that, hopefully you bring a lot more into your toolbox than just, some of the more direct leadership, which is like, kicking people to wake them up or, whatever you do. Having said that, I think that a leader has to understand their people. They have to understand what they're trying to accomplish. It all boils down to basics, right? There's nothing that I'm going to say that's going to blow anybody's fucking mind. Everything's down to basics and trying to master basics. And every day I struggle with basic things because you try to tap into your experiences and also meet people's basic needs. And that's leader, and drive the organization another step further. Like that's the basics of leadership. It's challenging.
Since we're in the mindset of it now and we're talking about it, obviously when you're starting up a business, you want to be that influential and kind of charismatic leader, right? Because you want them to run. You can try. Like I said, that's most people's aspirations, right? When you're starting, bringing in your own people.
Yeah, you want to be like the guy standing up on your like, Ben, we're going this way, man.
Hey, we're pulling General Custer's here all day.
Sir, those aren't your men. Oh, point me to my men. Oh, men, we're going this way. No, you know what I'm saying? It's like you have a vision of what is in your mind, and reality is probably very different.
What piece of advice?
Lead me to my men.
Stripes. What kind of training you doing? Army training. Oh God, good shit. What piece of advice for those of us young and just starting up in this industry would you give with the time that you've put in so far and the leadership that you've given to those around you? And everyone around you seems to be thriving. As you said, that's what you want. That's what you strive for yourself, is to make sure it's not just you, but everyone within your circle.
Well, I think the key to leadership is like you're always looking for the win-win-win, right? You're looking for the win for your people. You're looking for the win for your organization, and you're looking for the win for you. It can't always be like that,
right?
And that's the burden of leadership, is you. Sometimes it has to be your people aren't getting what they want necessarily, but you better figure out a way to make it up to them. Or, conversely, the business isn't getting what they need at this exact point, but down the road, you expect that to happen. I mean, there's a lot of it's just a very, it's very fluid, very like what if situation. It's always going to be like, I think it's just like you've got parameters and you keep getting just a little, if you can keep getting a little bit better, hopefully every day, if you're just a tiny bit better, then you're winning, but then you're doing a good job. Advice is easy. Like advice is like,
hey, buy these animals, or buy this rack, or use Reptichip. Hey, there's a plug.
That's all it is. Yeah, use
Reptichip. You'll be good.
No, I think advice is easily given. It's hard to follow, but I think one of the biggest things that I see is there's a lot of people talking and planning and, you know, wanting and wishing and, you know, communicating and networking to try to build. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. But one of the things I noticed lately is that maybe it comes down to stop talking and just do, right? Like that's what I've noticed. Like even if you do it and the first time is a complete disaster, you go to sell a snake or whatever it is, right? Complete disaster. Maybe your customer wrote you up and like, hey, this guy is full of shit. Like, he didn't answer my questions, blah, 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 or whatever. He sent an animal and it didn't have the heat pack in it. And you're like, fucking 84 degrees out. I'm not going to put a heat pack in. Whatever it is, right? Like, doesn't matter. If you're committed to this thing, that's one blip on your radar. And, you know, in 5 years down the road, nobody's going to figure out that you had a. But like,
you forgot a heat pack when you shouldn't have put a heat pack in the damn box.
Yeah, weird. But this whole thing is like, well, here's the other thing: is had, you know, trust in reasonable people. There's tons of unreasonable people out there, but the majority of people are. That's a good fucking comment. I just saw that. Shut the fuck up and breathe. That's exactly it. There's trust in reasonable people. Always think to yourself, what is a reasonable person going to think? Like, and if you're a reasonable person, you kind of know what reasonable people are going to think. So don't worry about the outliers of that.
Well, I think part of what you were saying too is like everyone talks, right? And we're all sitting here and we see how other people do it and we work it in our own heads, right? Like we've all seen Miguel's rise to fame and the man's fucking killed it. Like super proud of him. 2 silver play buttons. Like he's put the work in. He's done what he had to do to be successful. Yep. And we've all derived, well, this is probably how he did it, you know? And I'm not saying that there's hate towards that, but why don't you just stop fucking talking about it and talk to him and be like, hey, how'd you do it? How do I get in your circle to learn from you? Or here's the thing, instead of trying to do everything on your own, because I can tell you, I fucking did it for 2 years. I tried to figure out breeding on my own. All my mistakes, I tried to fix it my own by watching videos or not actually talking to people. And then the year that I finally decided, you know what, learn some fucking humility, you jackass, because you need a little bit, obviously. It came to me and we've been on a roll ever since. But you gain that circle and you gain your people to bounce ideas off of, or when you're having your mistake, they've already been through it. And that's
no, that's good. No, exactly. Like that's a really solid point. Like expand your network. Like stop talking to people on their Instagram feed, right? Like, but develop an actual relationship with them. Like, you know, like if it can't be in person, like, you know, email them, call them, do something that's going to set you apart from making a comment on a post. That's not a relationship, right? Like that's, if you look at the big guys and stuff, they don't have time to comment on every fucking post, or they have somebody that's hired to comment on your post, but they're not going to give you, that's not them, right? Like, so don't think don't fool yourself and think that is some sort of interaction with them or that you're learning from them. Like that's not a relationship. If you want something real, develop a real relationship with somebody. And that doesn't matter if they're big, small, whatever it is. I think we get misled a lot of times in social media and we think that, oh, hey, you know, fill in the blank. This guy's my friend. He commented on my thing. No, man, like you need to be able, like when I need something, there's a network of people that I call that are very, in my mind, very trusted people, and some of them are big names, and some of them you never even heard of before. But they have, we always kind of rely on each other to kind of you build your network of people. I've had guys that the most pronounced guys in the industry that call me, and I'm like, why the fuck are they calling me, right? Like I'm nothing compared to them. Like, I'm just like shocked. Like, why are you calling me asking, like, if you think that, what my thoughts are on something? I think that's a surprise that you kind of get at the end of, like, oh, hey, they see you as a, somebody that has something interesting to say about something because you've earned that place. Not that you're catering to anybody or anything, but I don't know, man. You bring up a lot of good points with your questions, and there's a lot of different rabbit holes to go down. I think at the end of the day, though, if I had to give advice, it would be just fucking do it. Stop talking about it. Just do it, and you're going to learn more by doing it and throwing yourself in the fire than you are ever by talking to everybody, asking people questions, going on forums. Fuck it, do it. And then just be good to everybody, and it'll come back to you. Like, you'll develop those relationships. People will help you out because they know you're like, hey, this is your goal. This is what you really want. You're committed to doing something here. Like, people will recognize that, and they'll respect that, and they'll support you in that. At least the right people will. Let it be known this is what you're interested in. Your interest is, and if you're not screwing over anybody along the way, people are gonna help you with that. My take, anyway.
I love that. I think that's actually a good way to close out.
Good.
Before we do that, there's obviously thousands of other questions that could be out. I know you're a busy guy, and I'm a semi-busy person right now with everything going on. So I'm trying to keep my head level. But I want to thank you, one, for your friendship, JT. Two, for the sponsorship. For those that don't know yet, which if you don't know, you've been living under a fucking rock. Not this Friday, but next Friday, there's going to be a grappling match for US ARC, and JT and Reptichip decided to sponsor us.
Happy.
One of our sponsors for the fight, and they will be in our corner while the fight is going on. So thank you for the trust, and
go Army.
Going Team Army.
Great Navy.
JT, let everyone know where we can find you, and I guess get ready for the next one, brother, because within a year or so I'll bring you back.
I'm at reptichip.com. There's you can contact us through there, or JT Tomlinson on Facebook, Reptichip on Facebook, On the Ball Pythons on Facebook. I try not to get too much into messages on like TikTok or like even like Instagram and stuff like that. But yeah, hey, if you want to find me, you can find me. It's pretty straightforward.
It was easy to find him before. He used to be in this. Oh, hold on, I got to do this. This is my favorite photo of you of all time. So I got to pull this up real quick before we go.
You gonna put it on the screen?
Oh, I'm gonna fucking put it on the screen. It's coming. Hold on, 2 seconds. Speak about something. What's something you're really looking forward to in Arlington while I'm pulling this shit up real quick?
Your fight?
Besides that.
The auction? Uh-oh.
So, to be fair, the fight started out as a joke, but this was something that JT had been thinking of before, and I think a little birdie kind of got in my ear, and I
No.
didn't think about it when I made the joke with Antoine. But where's this photo? Where's the photo? No.
Hold on. I don't know if I can even be here for this.
Oh, you'll be fine. Stop. Not even that bad. It's the boat picture. I'm just finding the boat picture. It's okay.
The boat?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not with the mask. I don't want the mask. I want the smile.
did you?
This is the epitome of what I think of when I see JT. Like, this is what comes to my mind constantly.
Did you put it up?
It's coming up right now. I love this picture. It's like my favorite picture in the world of you.
It's like
once we get the man bun might have like a small spot on the back of my desktop or something so that I can mess with it for a while.
like a Magnum PI Marca.
So this was your profile picture when I first met you, and oh Lord, I remember the first time
Changed.
I was just like, nothing's changed. Like, same person, obviously. There's always a good joke or something behind. Like, there's a story behind every picture, which I love. But just that little run-of-the-mill kid. Well, I guess not a kid now. I guess I could consider myself a man. I don't know. I still feel like a kid sometimes.
I hope you do, man. That's a good thing. I think I'm a kid. I'm a fucking fat kid, man. I'm a fat kid that just like plays and has more responsibilities now. And that's it. Big fat kid.
Yeah, you're in trouble, Scouty. I got a man crush. He's got a beard too, so it's all over. Anyways, brother, like I was saying, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your time tonight. I look forward to seeing you in a week's time. And we'll bring you on again.
Good, man. I'll be there on Friday in your corner.
Shooting blow darts in Antoine's ass so he passes out.
Making sure that he's not eating any grands over there. I think that's all they do. Like, seriously. Like, let's make sure there's no Crayolas over there because we don't want him to get sick. Anyway. Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate it for having me on, man.
Oh, absolutely, brother. It's always a pleasure. Anytime I get with you. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you next week before the Arlington fight. So, and hopefully we'll see you in Arlington. Night, y'all.